Hey everybody, welcome back. This video is a continuation of thumbnail number 1. When you look at the little Betsy emoji on the thumbnail, there's a 1 next to it. This one's going to be 1A because we're going to do some problems very similar to what we did in the first video. So what's the difference between these problems from the last one? These have a negative x. The other ones did not. They're still one-step equations, but now we have a negative x. And remember, we're solving for x, not negative x. So I'm going to show you an easy way to get rid of the negative in any of the equations that you are solving. All you have to do is change all your signs. So when I read this problem, negative x plus 2 equals 3, I don't want negative x, I want x. So right away, I'm just going to go and change all my signs. That negative x becomes a positive x, the positive 2 becomes a minus 2, and the positive 3 becomes a negative 3. Now I've changed all the signs. So by changing all the signs, you're not changing the equation, as long as you don't forget to do it for all the signs. Now, remember what I like to do before I solve my equations? I like to put a line through the equal sign to separate the two sides. So we've got our line through the equal sign. Now, the next thing I like to do is, do you guys remember? Yes, I like to box out the x. That's what I'm solving for. I want to get it by itself. So I'm boxing out that x. Anything outside the box on the same side of the equation has to go. So what do I need to get rid of here? I need to get rid of this minus 2. How do I do that? By doing the opposites. It's a minus 2, so I'm going to add 2. And whatever I do to one side of the equation, I have to do to the other. So I added 2 to both sides to keep it balanced. Now, if we look on the left side here, a negative 2 and a positive 2 cancel out, and I'm left with x equals. On the other side, I've got a negative 3. I like to use a number line. 1, 2, 3, negative 3, and a positive 2. So we're going to count on the number line to see where we end up. So I'm going to start with this negative 3 up here. That's right here. And from there, I'm going to go positive 2. 1, 2. Where does that put me? At negative 1. And that's my answer. Should we check the answer? I think we should. So let's go back up and put negative 1 in for x. What we got to remember here, though, is that this x in the original problem is negative. So I've got to put that negative there. Now I'm going to replace x. I'm going to replace this x with negative 1 plus 2. Anybody know what happens when you have a double negative like that? A double negative makes a positive. So that's actually positive 1 plus 2 is 3. It checks. If you are struggling with adding and subtracting integers, I will have a video up to help you with that also. I have a few different methods to use. I did the number line here, but you can also look at it. See how that's a negative 3 and a positive 2? When the signs are different, you just subtract the numbers. 3 minus 2 is 1. And whichever number is bigger, that's the sign you use. 3 is bigger than 2, it's negative, so your answer is negative. But again, I will go through that in another video with you. Let's do another problem here. Let's take a look at number 2 here. Very similar, we've got a minus x again. But in this problem, which we're going to start by reading, I have 5 minus x equals 3. I don't want 5 minus x. I'm solving for x. I need x equals. So the first thing we're going to do is get rid of that negative x. Remember, a minus and a negative are the same thing. So how do I do that? Just change all your signs. It's a positive 5, so I'm going to make it a negative 5. It's a negative x, so I'm going to make it a positive x. It's a positive 3, so I'm going to make it a negative 3. These two equations are the same as long as you remember to change all the signs. Now, the beauty of this is our x is positive. And since our x is positive, it's just an easier equation to solve. So what am I going to do? I'm going to start by putting that line down through the equal sign to separate the two sides of the equation. Then I like to box out the x. I'm going to box out the sign with it. It's a positive x. Box it out. Now, anything outside that box on the same side of the equation has to go. Well, on this left side here, I've got a -5. I got to get rid of it. I don't want -5 plus x equals. I want x equals. So to get rid of a -5, we're going to add 5. Whatever I do to one side, I got to do to the other. And here we go. So what happens on the left side? A +5 and a -5 cancel out. And all we're left with is x equals. Here, we've got 3 negatives. 1, 2, 3 negatives. And then we've got 5 positives. So if I walk it on the number line, I start at -3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It brings me to +2. And that's my answer. The signs are different. It's a -3 and a +5. So subtract the numbers. 5 minus 3 is 2. 5 is bigger. It's positive. So your answer is positive. I will have a video on that if you need help. So now I'm going to take and put 2 in for x. So now I got 5 minus 2, which is 3. And it works. Ta-da! How are we doing, everybody? The next set of problems is going to be a little more difficult. We're going to go from one-step equations to two-step equations. I'm here if you need help. You know that. And if this is helping you out, I would really appreciate if you subscribe. At the end of the playlist, I plan to put some worksheets that you can purchase for a very minimal price to do extra problems and work on this. And I'll have a little assessment there for you to try also. So I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'm excited to see that you're doing well on this. Please talk to me. Let me know how you're doing, and whatever I can do to help, I'm here.